Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me. This is Tara Lee Live, and we are live on YouTube. All right, I have a few guests with me today. I have DK Trades, who is always helping me out on the guest panel. Say hello, DK.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Can't wait to get into the episode today, just like usual. We've got some great guests.
Awesome. Thank you. And we have Eric, who Eric has turned in with us before from PharmX. He's going to be talking to us about some CBD information, I think. Eric, what do we got?
Oh, hey, I was muted.
Uh,
Yeah, we'll talk about some Delta 8 stuff and probably some CBD stuff.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. And now we've got, well, here's Johnny. Perfect timing, lighten up that joint. What are we puffing on, Johnny B?
This morning it would be a little bit of the MK Ultra. It's actually kind of uplifting high for breakfast. It's great to see everybody here on a Sunday. You know what? We're hanging out. We're smoking
So
weed.
nice to see you as well. And I am so looking forward. If Hash Church ever comes back, I am waiting for you, Hash Church. I just have to say, and I am so honored that Johnny is here to join us today on a fine Sunday and a fun Sunday, right?
Well, that's what we're here to have, a sunny, happy, puffin Sunday.
Hell yeah. So go for it.
Oh, you know what? It's just been such a great kind of like the way this whole 2020 has started out, you guys. It's been kind of like this growing future of cannabis. It's been quite exhilarating. And over the last little bit, we've all got into kind of growing our own and getting in things. Well, I've actually now started my coffee and cannabis show in the morning. Tara wanted me to talk about this. So this coffee and cannabis show on my Instagram, mostly Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, depending on how I feel. And we just, it's an inspirational motivation. Let's get growing. Let's get growing. Let's get going. Sometimes I'm doing some seed giveaways there and talking more about that. And Tara is so awesome. She created this Johnny B Grow Crew inside of Instagram, this Grow Crew #1 and Grow Crew #2. And with these Grow Crews, we're actually linked to this Discord app that is actually part of this growing community that's pretty fantastic that DK Trades involved with. We got all kinds of their rare 710 Canuck, Tribal Gardens. So I could keep listing all these names, by the way, and they go on to 74 people in this grow group. We do these Zoom meetings a couple times a week, and we go down grow topics. And on Monday, we're going to be talking about humidity in the grow room, the most important part of why humidity plays such a key important role in letting the leaves talk to us. And we got to learn more about reasons what's going on with that leaf and if it needs too much moisture or not enough. And let's talk about vapor pressure deficit. So we go through these growing topics all the time, which is great. So it's the Johnny B Grow Room. You go through that by hooking up, say, DK Trades or Tara Lee or D420K or these guys are all on Instagram. Message them, and then we get hooked up. Maybe we get Eric in there too and talk more about what he's got going on about CBD and everything. So we have all these great little educational platforms that we've all been putting together over time, and it's just kind of growing into 2020, which has been quite fantastic, and looking at 2021 and its future for the seeds and for the life and what everybody's doing here with all kinds of different alternative medicines and way being able to basically grow their future, their journey.
Awesome. Thanks, Johnny. Yeah, we do have a lot of fun over in that grow room, don't we, DK?
Yeah, we sure do. And there's just so much information there. It's just a plethora of it. And there's so many good people with just, really high integrity and aligned values. And it's just a fun time. Any morning we get to chat. It's just something new coming up that we get to learn about, be it the lights or the VPD, or we've got, with the microbes lately in the living soil, my goodness. Speaking of, hopefully Dragonfly makes it soon so we can get more into that. But
yes,
yeah,
you guys, I hate to say, like, we're supposed to have a surprise guest join us today, by the way. We don't know who's going to be joining us. Dragonfly hopefully is going to be checking in with us. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Maybe it depends on reception up there, what they've got going on, but we are going to be checking in with them soon. So stay tuned. Eric down in the bottom corner is going to be telling us about some stuff that he's got going on. But before that, we'll give a little shout out to chat. Ben's hashtagging JB Grow Crew. Awesome, Ben. Thanks for joining in. Really appreciate you guys out there in chat.
On my screen, I'm in the top corner. That's all that matters to me.
I like that. That's awesome. In my screen, actually, I'm in the top corner.
On YouTube, you're actually in the bottom corner.
Yeah,
Or
but
this way.
Did you
Right
put a
on.
link in the JB Grow Crew to the?
No, I only have a few people on the panel because I have the ADHD.
Oh no, I mean so they can watch
so,
the show. Just
oh
so they
no
can
no
watch
no
the
no
show.
no! I haven't put all the links out there. I was just going to remind everybody, if you could share, if you think someone might like this, and stay tuned. We will get the chat rolling. We've got a lot of people we've got going on. We're going to get a lot of information out to people. We want to share it with all of you. Also, after our guest this morning, we also have a guest coming in sometime in an hour, I think. We're going to be talking. Yep. We're going to be talking about kratom or kratom, however you want to talk about it, or whatever you want to call it or pronounce it. I know nothing about it, but I have some friends that have been asking me about it. And so I have a guest that's going to come in and talk to us about that as well. So stay tuned. Should we take a big dab? Do you guys want to talk about your dabbing on? Do you want to share?
I think we should take a big dab. You should all get those likes in, get those thumbs up, and make sure to be on live chat, not top chat if you're tuning in.
Yes, thank you for reminding everybody.
Live chat. I'm on top chat.
Live chat.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody?
Yeah, cheers everyone in chat. Hey, we've got Futuristic Ted, Lobster Bushbro, Brody Gaines, Hazard Smurf, Ball for Life. I saw Bingo before, Purple Thumb, Ben, Mr. Magoo, John Frank Songs, John Burfello. Oh my goodness.
I know, I just jumped into the chat. I don't even have
Sorry if I missed anyone, but cheers to all of you.
I'll jump in here with you guys. And
Johnny didn't get a wrench because he never chats in my chat.
I know. I'm kidding. That's fine. I haven't been in your chat room,
He's got
Tara.
one now. If he chats again, he should have one. You should be some blue there. Blew you up. So thanks for joining again, Johnny. I appreciate you being here, and everybody else that's here today. And everybody in chat who comes out and hangs out, and everybody that comes along and chats afterwards, because there's a lot of people that watch these videos afterwards. I don't have time to watch these right now. They're out in the garden, hopefully getting shit done.
Oh, people are doing things. They're actually enjoying the sunny Sunday, out there enjoying, because it hasn't been like sunny out that much. And wow, it's a good time to get out there and be with your garden, be with your plants. That's the way I always say.
So I am going to mute my mic, and if Eric wants to talk about what he's smoking on and then take it away to what he's got talking on, I'm going to turn it over to him. How about that?
I believe this is a mix of Vortex and Badger and
okay,
Buck
show that
OG.
again. Spotlight that again. I have you spotlight now.
It's some stuff that an OMMP farm grew a while back that I've just been just pulled out of a drawer. So it's probably about a year old, but it still smells pretty nice. A little fruity, a little gassy. It was a mix of like a handful of different strains, probably at least 5. Just because in the OMMP system, the way everything had to get tested and how small these batches were, we couldn't afford to run all of his different strains individually. As much as we would have liked to put out a bunch of small batches for OMMP patients, we were paying, upwards of $600 for testing per batch. So no go, not on the small stuff.
Yeah.
That's how it goes, man. Man, I was in a CBD shop in Bend, Oregon this week, just doing some price checking. They had crazy prices. There was on a 3,000 milligram full spectrum tincture for $180. And they had a 1,000 milligram tincture from Tommy Chong's brand that came with an autographed picture, which is probably where most of that money's going, but for $170 for a 1,000 milligram tincture. They had a tincture for dogs that had 50 milligrams in the whole bottle that was like $60. It was like crazy.
Time to get these CBD prices down and all these other prices down for the medical patient. I just have to say, cheers to getting the prices down for everybody that deserves it out there. Happy Sunday, everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic, healthy, and high day.
I'm right with you there. We have to do our best to drive these markets down and get this great medicine to the patients for as cheap as possible, because there is so much room for everyone to still get their cut and have these markets just slaughtered, because it's pretty ridiculous. And as Eric just mentioned there, those prices are insane. And pet CBD, I'm always interested when people bring that up, and then it's always more money for less milligrams. It's
well, a lot of times even the pet ones, they'll say hemp, and they'll have cannabis leaves on the product, and there won't actually be CBD in it, and it'll be like 1,000 milligrams. It's 1,000 milligrams of hemp oil, and
I'm seeing that
not always,
bit.
but a lot of times they'll say hemp oil, and hemp oil's pressed seed oil. It has no cannabinoids, and so those. And if you type in hemp products or CBD, if you type in CBD on Amazon, you'll have 1,000 different products come up, tinctures, gummies, and they all say 1,000 milligram, 2,000 milligram, whatever, hemp oil. None of them have CBD in it.
Exactly. And that, like, I'm not trying to take away the benefits of hemp oil. It's definitely there. But in the context of what they're doing there, they should just have
omega-3 fatty acids
right on the bottle. That's snake oil when you're selling it like that.
And there's stuff that they call snake oil that actually has high THC and cannabinoids. I know some people that were selling snake oils here in Vancouver back in the days, and they're actually quite a good little hit. I remember liking them. So
that's funny.
I know there's one product on the shelf, and it says it's called marijuana, and it says CBD, and you flip over the back of it, it's the same thing. It's pressed seed hemp oil. So there's no cannabinoids in there at all, zero. It's kind of more like a vitamin or a sense. So.
Right on.
Very cool. So Eric, did you want to tell us some news you got? You got some big news you heard you were going to tell us about, or you got some stuff?
I mean, nothing too crazy, but I've definitely been spending a little more time researching and talking to other people about Delta 8, just because last time we spoke, we talked about how there'd been a huge supply and demand increase, and that, at least on my platforms, and it could just be because I'm following all the right hashtags, but it seems like everybody on my LinkedIn and Instagram and some other forums I'm fond of are either making D8 or looking to purchase D8 or trying to broker D8. So I've been spending some time before I put any myself on the market. Want to make sure it's all legal, and then we've also been looking into some of the complications and analytics. So like we said before, there was a mystery peak that a lot of labs are reading as Delta 9. So you could take most any Delta 8 product, because these isomerizations have so many different side conversions that happen, and you could take it to basically, let's say you get one that passes at a lab. That's cool. But if you take it to any other lab, you're going to get it to pop for Delta 9, because there's these peaks on the chromatograph right in the same area as Delta 9 that these labs are assuming are Delta 9. And in some cases might be Delta 9. That last step got me. Sorry. I'm a little all over the place there. But,
it's all good.
But basically, we've got these mystery peaks.
Eric, do you mind if I share your website and your Instagram? Is that all right?
You can. I'm scrapping the whole website and redoing it with a different platform, so we're switching from Wix to WordPress and building.
Well, I just want to throw it out there so people know.
Sure.
Actually,
I mean, the
what
URL will
be
the same.
Yeah, the link will still work the same, right?
Right. Okay.
Yep.
So but, this is the old website, soon to be new website, but
yeah. But same concept, same URL. It's just going to be a little more user friendly and look a little more professional, and we're actually going to do some SEO this time. And because insofar we've never actually done any like outreach or marketing or anything, so trying to do a little more professional with it. But anyways, back to the peaks. We've got a relatively reputable source, a lab manager at Chem History in Portland, got a standard of HU331, which is a CBD quinone, and probably pronouncing that wrong, quinone maybe, and hasn't confirmed that the mystery peak everybody's running into is it, but in his instance has said that a lot of the mystery peaks he's running into happen to be HU331. So that's cool. I'm still worried that if I get a test that passed at his lab or another lab, that it's going to end up somewhere like Texas or Louisiana, get tested by a law enforcement agency, and then they're going to read it as Delta 9. And it's going to be me versus them. And even if it ends well, I don't want to spend the money or the time in court or any of that bullshit. So until that's like hard science, I'm not really fucking with it. But what I also learned this last week, which is less in the science realm and more in the legal realm, Delta 8 is Schedule 1 by the DEA. So 70, their code for tetrahydrocannabinols is 7370, and it just says tetrahydrocannabinols, Delta 8, Delta 9, Dronabinol, and others. So basically, Delta 8, Delta 10, Delta 6A, 10A are all federally illegal. And then there's a lot of people still saying, oh, well, the 2018 Farm Bill legalized anything from hemp as long as it was below 0.3 Delta 9. So Delta 8's legal as long as it's below 0.3 Delta 9. But I've had a lot of pretty bright people chime in, some of which with legal backgrounds. And I haven't asked the DEA personally yet, but I've had a lot of people chime in and say that the DEA sees their scheduling as the primary document, regardless of whether it comes from hemp. So we haven't seen any enforcement that I'm aware of yet. I've heard rumors of arrests from Delta 8 in Oregon, and I've heard rumors that I haven't substantiated about Delta 8 that was traced back to Oregon being caught in Africa. And there's upcoming Delta 8 raids based on that, but I haven't substantiated that or found any evidence of that. Just people talking about it on forums and stuff.
Come to you if that would be the case.
What's up?
When they come knocking on your door, if that was the case.
Well, I'm not selling Delta 8. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I've held off because I was worried about the mystery peaks.
Yeah.
And how others would deal with it.
I'm trying to think because I know there's a lot of people do a lot of testing. Mark Scaldone is one who's done a lot of the research.
I've actually been talking to Dr. Scaldone about my Delta 8, and we've been talking about it a little.
There you go. So you got one of the more of the experts.
Yeah, super helpful.
Amazing person.
Amazing guy. He helped.
Maybe we could get him on here one time, Johnny B.
That'd be cool. I'll talk to him.
Yeah. Send him an invite.
Yeah,
the lab I was at from January to June. The lab I was at from January to June out in Central Oregon was doing CBGA production and CBGA isolate, and we actually sent him samples. He was looking for somebody producing it to do NMR.
MMR, yeah, his MMR.
Yeah.
And I've done lots of testing, but I'm just the guy testing, so I can't talk about, you know what I mean? Because I'm no professional at all, but I've seen all kinds of different peaks and all kinds of great things on the HPLC and on the GC, working with Dr. Hornby back in the days. So I get a pretty good idea of the peaks and what I'm looking at, and where they actually come up at what times. So it's pretty cool to understand that. But once again, I just kind of can't really talk too much about something you don't know too much about, but I do, but you know what I mean.
We appreciate
I don't know
but I appreciate
anything about analytics.
That, you know?
This is my first real issue with analytics. I mean, over the past couple of years, I've had to learn a little bit about it just because I've spent tens of thousands of dollars getting my products tested to go to the market. But this is the first time we've really had to help the lab solve an issue. And really, I mean, I haven't really spent too much time looking at chromatographs before this, or comparing standards.
Where that's coming up on the graph at what time, certain things come up on different times, so you get an idea depending on how long that runs for, if it's a 9-minute or a 12-minute or
I guess it depends on their on their method, and it depends on their method and maybe their mobile phase and maybe their dilution.
Most of the stuff will probably be the same. I'm just thinking out loud, but
I don't know. I don't know anything. I just know that there's probably got to be some variables in between labs.
There is, guaranteed.
And I've also heard that you need to do it on an MS to get real good isomer identification. And insofar, I don't think anybody's, really offering an affordable rate isomer testing on an MS. And if they are, people aren't.
MS testing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if I had that, I'd feel a little more confident with my.
And you're gonna get all the you're gonna get
Delta
everything
8.
on the MS, which would be
So, like,
fantastic to
maybe
see.
we should talk a little bit about the testing reports. DK, do you want to talk a little bit about that? Like, because you've been getting some test reports that went back lately. Like, maybe that's something we should talk about.
Well, I just think maybe it's something that we could have Eric and John go into a little more here, just to
that'd be
explain,
really
what
nice.
is an MS and what are these? What are they testing?
I'm not the guy.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you know a little bit more than the average bird.
Mass
Basics. I'm
spectrometer.
talking just basics right now.
And they've got a database. I don't exactly know how they analyze it, but there's a database that basically it'll match the weight, the molecular weight, and they don't have to have the standards for everything the same way they do on an HPLC because there's a database.
Yeah.
See here, you're going way over what most people need to know. I was
or a
more looking
GC,
for
a gas
mass
chromatography, or an
spectrometer.
HPLC. So I had a GC, right? So that's what I used to have. Mine used to run off of gas. That's what I had in my garage here. I had a GC, so that was a different type of that ran off of heat, more or less.
And then HP's, I believe,
Runs
high
off flame.
performance liquid chromatography, but maybe it's high pressure.
High
But I
pressure.
think it's high performance.
High pressure.
At high pressure?
I'm pretty sure it is. Just for some reason, I worked with Paul, but I could be wrong.
No, you're probably right. You're probably right. I was, it might be somebody's brand name, like
it's high pressure liquid chromatography.
Yeah.
Because I used to go and get the methanol for Paul, and then I sat there and I did all the testing. I used to do all the weighing of the samples and put it in the agitator and put it in the thing, and it would have it would do a single injection. A needle would come out, it would inject into the column, and then it would run through a column. Where with an HPLC, with the one that I had, actually I would shake the test tube, I would insert it into the column, so it was a little bit different. That was more automated.
And then basically the rate that things pass through the column, they create a peak because they, like chromatography, it is chromatography, things just pass through a media. A mobile phase passes through a stationary phase at a certain rate, So THC would pass through quicker or slower than CBD would.
CBD would come up first. THC would only come up between the 6 and the 7 minute mark, between the 6:45 to 7. Then we see the THC A come out after that. We see those spikes, and we wait for that big CBD spike, which normally came out of the 589 to 630, if I remember correctly. There's things that I remember.
It really sounds like you guys are the wrong guys to ask. You don't seem to know very much about it.
No. Well, I don't.
Well, I mean, compared to somebody like Dr. Scaldone,
to someone like or people who actually have degrees in these machines.
Okay, but you don't understand, though.
At least personally, I'm on the peak. I'm on the peak of Mount Stupid on the Dunning-Kruger
but see,
I know just enough to. Or maybe
I got a whole binder full of I got a whole binder here full of stuff in my filing cabinet right beside me.
Eric, you got to understand that, like, these are a lot of new people are coming into this industry. You guys think that there's like so many people that know all this stuff, and there's really not. Like, if you go out and talk to someone today about what we're having this conversation, how many percentage of the people are going to know what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's true.
If you walk into a grocery store. If you walk into a grocery store and you're standing, when you used to stand in a grocery store line, if those people in that line, 10 people, how many of those people would know what we're talking about? And that's why it's really important.
Probably the one that's there buying spinach to test as a standard.
There you go.
For their pesticides.
See, that's why it's so important that we have these conversations.
Yeah, exactly. And for like what we're saying, we're just trying to get like kind of the basic information out to the mass, and like, really all I was fishing for there was just literally the non-abbreviated words for the mass spectrometer, and then just be like, well, it separates things due to molecular weight, or you can search out, it can separate different things so we can really know what's inside. So then when we're getting these products or someone's distributing it, they can really know what it is. So then as a patient, when you get it, you can say, hey, I know what's in here.
And acronyms.
Like something like this, where the kind selections have their terpene reports on there. And even this is not that finite, but it's just one more step.
Right. But a lot of people probably don't realize that says 87.77, but that really means 100%.
It's just
let's talk about that, because I am so confused on the labeling. I don't have any labeling right here.
So I can speak to that.
Oh wait, I have one right
briefly.
Here.
So what they do is you have to put your THC A and your THC and your total THC. And what they do to get total THC is they take your THCA plus your THC, combine it, and then multiply that. Well, actually, they take the THCA, multiply it by 0.877, and then add that to the decarboxylated THC. And they do that because 0.133 is the amount of weight lost due to decarboxylation. So theoretically, if you put 100% THCA out on a shelf, somebody could buy a product that, if it just decarboxylated on the shelf, which it wouldn't,
It will.
even for years it wouldn't. A concentrate. I mean, if you have THCA on a plant or on a concentrate, once you smoke it, it is. But so basically, they're saying theoretically there is. Once decarboxylated, there is only 0.877 milligrams of THC per 1,000, which I don't really see the point in doing that weird math, because that's not how many cannabinoids are in the jar. That's how much cannabinoids you'll consume once vaporized. But
well, it's like when you light a joint, you lose basically 80%.
So basically, when you open a jar and you're smelling it, you're smelling more terpenes that are in there than what they actually have listed on the jar.
No, I'm only talking about how they get the THC number. Total THC is THCA
you said
multiplied by.
In there. That's why I was confused. Okay.
If I did, I don't.
Or someone said terpenes or something in there. Or something.
Might have.
I don't know. Okay, go ahead.
THCA they multiply by 0.877 to get the total cannabinoids they put on the label. Because when you vaporize it, you decarboxylate it essentially, and you're only getting 87% of the 100%, no matter what your starting cannabinoid ratio is.
That's interesting. I did not know that. I was so confused by how they broke that down and added that.
Yeah, I've got diamonds that are 101%, which means they're more pure than the standard that the lab was using, or something. And then at the bottom of the page, it says 87.7%. And then people go, well, these can't be super pure. I mean, how pure is 87%?
GC and what
that's why I was questioning this package, right? So I haven't normally bought from the dispensary lately. I've been lucky enough that I've been able to grow for myself and produce my own solventless rosin. And lately it's become, I haven't kind of running out. So I have to go to the store every now and then and get stuff. So I went to the store. And DK, we've been talking about all these safety tests, and Eric, you coming in and talking about, well, what's that other percent? We need to be worried about these other percents. And I'm like, well, shit, I start reading on the back of my package, and it's like, well, if I could read the back of the package, first of all, please make this print bigger for people. But anyways, that's the side note. But it doesn't make sense because none of it adds up to 100%. So like, what's the other 80%, or what's the, that's why I was so confused by what.
But that's the same thing with your rosin you press at home. If you take your rosin to a lab, it's going to be 60 or 70%. What's the other 30%? Lipids, waxes,
right?
Sorts of
now I understand that, right?
Terpenes, stuff like this.
Right.
Terpenes.
I love it.
So when you look at the bottom of, say, like you see even kind selections, you look on the bottom, it has a total cannabinoids. But if you added up those terpenes on the bottom, the total cannabinoids with the terpenes actually adds up to 100%.
And some concentrates can do that. There's concentrates on the market.
But some of them don't.
Right. Well, then some of them have more lipids and fats in the concentrates.
Yeah, that's why it's really confusing.
Testing, so a quicker press and a harder press gave me a higher THC than a longer and shorter press did give me more It was just different. That I saw, and I talked about that, and then I used to saw that waxy membrane that was floating inside of my methanol until I put it in hexane, and when I put it in hexane, it dissolved. So that means it was.
Well, we can all see the wax floating in our
exactly.
rigs too,
right? So.
Yeah.
Do you guys notice the different colors of the waxes that you get? Do you guys ever notice is there different coloring that you're noticing? Because I notice different colors sometimes.
It depends on your filtration media. If you're precipitating waxes out of like an ethanol solution, they're typically going to be white, maybe a little yellow. But if you're using a dry media like T5 or Magsil or Silica or something, you could get reds, greens, yellows, because different medias are pulling different
Very
things.
Interesting. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I don't know.
Very cool. So, anybody got any questions, or what else you got over the deltas? Like, is there any more study gone on it, or that's pretty much all? Or...
Oh, I don't know. What do you want to know?
I don't know. Like, are you consuming it? How do you feel about it?
So I've consumed some before that I've made, and I've never done it without any Delta 9 currently in my system. And it's supposedly less psychoactive than Delta 9. So I've
Here, Aki could test
consumed
one
it on
thing.
a couple.
Sorry, Dr.
go ahead.
Hornby, he fell. He broke his leg, and he did a lot of it. And he took all Delta 8 when he was in the hospital for his pain control and stuff like that. And
That's
he talked
awesome.
about it. And that's all he took, and he got no. So it was all Delta 8, and it worked more as an anti-inflammatory, right? So, I mean, help with his inflammation, help with his pain tremendously, and stuff like that. So
I've
I remember him
heard it's
talking
been
about
like
this on the show I had when I interviewed Dr. Hornby on Pot.tv there about a month ago. So definitely check out that episode. And
I
he
will.
talks more about Delta 8 and how he was consuming mass amounts of it while he was in Spain.
Right on. That's really interesting. And how long ago, or how long has he been consuming Delta 8?
And how was he ingesting it? Was he eating it, or was he vaporizing?
Eating it.
Okay, so then, as Eric brought up the last time, and we've been looking into a little bit ourselves, it should be converting to the same thing as Delta 9 would in his liver, right?
Can't remember. I really wanted like to bring him on here because he would be able to talk more about it, because
Yeah, I'm really
he
curious.
is the scientist. He's the one who done the decarboxylating. He's the one that found how cannabis, he saved my life. He gave me that decarboxylated brownie that binding my receptors, helped me with my pain control, right? So it's really important about activation and decarboxylation of the cannabinoids that help people with different pain, because it's able to work as that perfect puzzle piece, is what I always say, in the brain, because it has to be decarboxylated to bind so it can actually pass blood-brain barrier in a sense. But it does work pre and post synapse. So there's a lot of medical stuff in there that I would like to go down, but I only know that much of it and how cannabis helped me.
I don't have the paper in front of me, but I have read that Delta 8's been very positive for nausea, specifically with chemotherapy patients, and that it's very promising for anti-nausea. I've heard pain as well. I've heard it's good for pain, and then also I don't know this to be the case for Delta 8, but I do know that you can take some things sublingually. Like, for instance, if you take Delta 9 sublingually, it goes directly into the bloodstream and not into the liver. And it might not necessarily be psychoactive in that way because it doesn't get metabolized, but it might be doing other things.
I was just bringing up something about delta tetrahydrocannabinol, but it's tetrahydrocannabinol, which is one of the 113 cannabinoids identified in cannabis. Just so you guys know, they have 113 cannabinoids identified in cannabis today. It's pretty amazing. Remember when there were 60?
Does that and that's native to the cannabis plant, not all
Wikipedia.
not all the HUs and JWHs, right?
Yeah. This is just Wikipedia on tetrahydrocannabinol.
So Bingo wants an update on my auto plant. Bingo, I'll give you one a little later. I'll go get a little piece of the autoflower and show you what it's doing. It's drying pretty quick, but I'll let these guys continue talking. Go ahead, guys. I love the conversation we're having this morning. Thanks again, and thanks everybody for joining us out there. If you have any questions that Eric or Donnie B can answer for you, please, now's your time.
Yeah, they are just basically saying CBD, but it's not with plants only compound identified with the chromium THC. I haven't looked at this in a long time. I did a lot of research back in the days, but then you forget about it 10 years later, right? So just kind of looking at Delta 8 THC sensitized and just taking a look at some information. It's actually on dynafem.org. So I'll come back to chat here, guys. Sorry.
I see we got people yelling dab time. Let's have a
Dab
rip.
time?
All right. Don't
I
twist my
am
arm.
ready for a rip.
I've been sitting here being smoking this fatty for at least 20 minutes because I know how long a joint burns. As we started the show, I rolled 3 joints. Oh, I got 2 left.
Did your girlfriend come take it?
No, not yet. Well, she's actually, I think she went for a drive in her car. She's got to, yeah.
But she got a tingle while she was driving as soon as you finished rolling it. So I got to get home quick.
I'm waiting for the door to open.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my.
I wasn't subscribed to your stuff, Tara. Wow, that's why.
This is some
What's that?
some
I wasn't
hash that I
subscribed to.
squirted like a mill of hemp terps in. So it's just insanely strong flavor, almost to the point where it's unpleasant, but it's still pleasant.
You know, that's
What's
how
up?
some of that live stuff is. What kind of profile you got? He said.
I think I put in the Suver.
Ooh, that was
that's
a good one.
the
I
Suver.
smelled that one
So
of yours.
pretty gassy, still a little floral, still a little sweet, but definitely gassy is the main.
Right on.
There you go. Oh.
And that's terps you guys can order directly from Eric online, by the way. That's why I threw his website out. CBD and terps.
I'm hoping to do some more cultivars this season. We'll see exactly who grows what, just because I know a lot of people this year are not growing because last year they weren't able to sell it all. And if they did, it wasn't at a profit. Because you got to realize that the cost to harvest an acre, let's say you have the barn space, you still got to pay people to chop it down, hang it up, chop it up, trim it, you know, or have a drying machine, which means you're paying somebody, you know, $5 or $7 a pound on the way out to run through the drying machine. And you still got to pay people to chop the plants down and move it to the place with the drying facility. I mean, an acre could cost you, let's say you're paying $1 a seed for some nice seeds. Let's say you do 2,000 or 3,000 plants an acre. Let's say you do 2,000 plants an acre, which is a small acre.
Okay.
I mean, it could cost you 2,000 in seeds, a little bit of ground cover and water, and then probably another 5,000 to 10,000 to harvest and dry that acre. So 10 acres, you could rack up $100,000 bill planting and harvesting it.
And then a facility to dry it in. Don't forget that.
You guys are talking about acres. I'm talking about 10 by 10 indoor growing rooms. I'm sitting over here drooling right now.
No,
but I guess you kind of need a hand with that, eh?
Well, talking about hemp with
that's
CBD,
the problem.
right?
Well, that's one of the problems this year. The first problem is that people put so much money into planting this stuff, and everybody grew a lot last year. And with the farm bill, they grew it all over the country. So a lot of people had trouble selling it. But then now, what if you do plant it all? Who's going to harvest it? Because with COVID, getting farm help, at least on the West Coast, we rely pretty heavily on people from down south, Central and South America.
And all out of the country.
Most of them migrate up because they come on these visas that are for short periods of time, and they're going to have difficulty traveling and or getting the visas due to COVID. I know some large farms here, like blueberry and hazelnut farms, that definitely have a bunch of people in the field, but I don't know if they're shorthanded or not. I haven't asked them. And then once hemp rolls around, I mean, at least here, we use a lot of manpower, people power.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with today, and what's happening is we have all these huge harvests when it comes to just not only hemp, but from food. And there's
but people don't realize though, but the thing is with hemp and cannabis, it hasn't been harvested on mass scales yet. So there's not the machinery, they're not the equipment. They are working on it, and they're continuing to work on it.
Yeah, but do you know what one of those? But it's a $1 million, $2 million piece of equipment.
Actually, was in fields back in 2014 when they were working with Health Canada and then harvesting the hemp, and they were using the combines. And we were actually just talking about how you were going to show up for a joint pretty soon. So here you go.
And how
And they're
weren't the
using the
combines
combines.
catching on fire at one point?
Yeah, and what they actually had was like, say, your Smith Mike garbage cans. They had stacked like 4 of these on top of each other, and then they also had these big, huge tractor trailers that were flatbeds, that were double wide, and they had slits going up into it, and big, huge fans running through these garbage cans type deal. They were blowing underneath of these beds to try and dry it quickly. It was pretty cool to see some of the tech they were coming involved with and looking at back in the days, and how to dry. Yeah, how do you cure or how do you dry 100 acres of hemp? Like how do you
speaking of
process
drying, you want to talk
How-
about back to the little guy tent thing?
You need
What about
$1 million
that?
drying machine.
You need $1
Well-
million machine, but I know when I was on the hemp fields
And
there,
that's bunk hemp. Nobody wants machine dried hemp. They want hang dried hemp.
yeah, and all this was in the seed separating facility that I went to, and the triclones were really that high on the windowsills, and they were putting that back, tilling it back into the ground for their next season because they weren't allowed to actually harvest those triclones. They were harvesting hemp seed.
So, but bring it back
And
to the small
CBD.
grower tent, you guys.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about these fast dryers that they're having out there? What do you like? Has anybody heard about what they're doing? The curing
Fast
the bud
drying.
quicker. Yeah, they're like a cure, like a bud cure. Haven't you heard of that?
What do you mean?
Yeah, like it's a food dehydrator.
Yeah,
Haven't
they're
you seen
essentially.
them?
That's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Can you
outrageous.
believe that?
I mean, like, I get it. Like, I've had a grow and been so excited to smoke a nug, or I accidentally had like a branch fall off that like I probably threw it in a dehydrator just to like, just because I was excited to smoke it. But I mean, that's not how you do it for yourself or for anybody else. Like, why? Why circulate hot air and roaster terps and maybe knock off some trichomes and
Hey, we've got
taste like grass forever.
We've got Purple Thumb OG in the chat here saying that he has the Herbs Now dryer and that it is not a dehydrator. So maybe we'll have to have you on to come talk about it.
Yeah, Purple, do you want to come talk about it? You've been on before, Purple. I'd love to have you back on.
A Herb Now dryer. I'm scared of that because I always let my weed hang for about 2 to 3 weeks, so proper curing. And like I say, most people, it takes 3 months to get a good cure out of those terpenes, so I get a proper like hit, like a really nice flavor. And when people smoke my stuff, they're like, "Dude," I'm like, "Yeah, 3-month cure." Like, really? I'm like, yeah, that's.
Let's see.
So how can you cure something?
It looks like a dark, like
we have a picture
locker.
of
it looks like a dark locker. Here, I can pull it up. I'll share my page.
So it's pulling the humidity out and it's heating it, which that means it's decarboxylating at some sort or another. What's this temperature? Is it going over 63 degrees?
And there we go. We
like
got Purple
wine cellar.
Purple Thumb responded. He said it works very well. Also, don't knock it till you try it. This could be like the VPD with some people.
Curious.
Trying, right? We gotta know.
Please tell me.
He prefers it to hang drying. So
I'm like, shit. I'm running high in my grow room right now. It's ridiculous.
So, I mean, the other thing is we've got to realize, like, this is new. Like, there's gonna be new things that are gonna come out. There's gonna be new inventions, and hey, there might be a rosin. I'm looking for that rosin that just like the flower just sits there and rolls, and it's a constant stream. So I know there's gonna be one of those one day. Like the flowers are gonna feed in, and then just.
So this is literally. It's a little 36 by 23 by 16 box with a carbon filter and 2 computer fans for $500 to grow. That could dry maybe something you grew in a computer case, which is fine if it works and that's what you want to do. I just really can't see a huge benefit compared to like sticking it in a closet with a box fan.
The herb dryer is getting great reviews from old school growers. Who? Please. I don't even know what I'm looking at, so I don't even know what it looks like.
It says 12 plant drying box. Hold on, can I share my screen, Tara? How do I do this? I thought there was a button that says share screen.
Herb dryer Canada. Here we go. There's a freeze dryer in here for $5,000.
Eric, do you see it now?
No.
You don't see it?
Share your screen and Google it.
AdvancedDryers.com.
Put it in the someone put the link in chat and I'll click on it.
Put it in the chat.
Yeah. Or oh shoot.
I'm looking at container dryers.
I bet you can't put it in there because I didn't
Here's one.
Oh, he has. Okay.
I had to show you this one.
There,
Here's a herb dryer for you. 40-foot container tractor trailer. This is the one you need. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay,
you dork.
So, come on, it was fun. I showed you.
I put one in the chat.
Got it right here. Okay, here. I'll click on it and then I'll share it with
you dork. I said, check this one out.
You dork.
I've seen some really cool ones for hemp that people have made that are similar to that.
That tractor trailer one looks pretty cool.
There's definitely 50-foot trailers that people have rigged up with heaters and fans. The problem is, like I said, it's not worth as much. So if you're trying to make isolate and you're just trying to go straight to isolate, a drying machine or a drying trailer is awesome. But if you're trying to make smokable bud, and most people in Oregon are trying to do smokable bud. Yeah. Especially because states like Tennessee and Kentucky are starting to put out massive
scroll
amounts.
Scroll up and down on this so you can see this thing. Here we go.
Okay. So you see up top the computer fans, and then down at the bottom, I think that's a little what they call a carbon filter, but it looks like just a little piece of carbon fabric.
You know, for the person that doesn't know how to cure the weed or dry the weed, or they're in just the wrong climate or wrong temperature and they just can never get it right, that might be the ideal thing.
Yeah, I get it. Like,
I'm curious, do you actually add water to this thing?
So I Purple, if you are out there and you want to come on, I did share
Defend yourself.
I did share.
You've been called out.
I DM'd you your link.
There you go, Tara. Oh, and Purple mentioned
I DM'd him.
He's in public, so he can't come on right now.
Oh, okay, but
he also just mentioned that it was Eagle Gardens who's the creator of it. So I know Eagle Gardens has been.
No, he said Eagle Gardens had the creator on.
Oh, there we go.
The inventor has been on his show.
Thanks for helping me read, Tara.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm curious, do you put water in this thing? Because that would be the only way I could see it being able to hold the.
So maybe I should get him on here and we should talk about it. You guys
or maybe there's a humidity, and every time it gets too high, it kicks the fans on.
So
yeah, maybe.
So
but I didn't see any wires. And I didn't see.
One other thing as well. The American one asked, how do they dry and cure it in Morocco then? And Afghanistan and Pakistan, because they're huge fields. You imagine they wouldn't have barns there. And I believe they keep it pretty
42 watching, 42.
Dry it in the sun.
That's the deal. And you can do that in Southern Oregon and plenty of other places too, Tennessee. If it's, I mean, yeah, why go hang it in a barn when you can chop it down and leave it in the field?
Did Mr. Johnny just yell out dab time? And I heard 42 in the chat, his favorite number. Welcome, Chatland out there. Thanks, everybody, for hanging in there.
Yes, it was.
Teo, how are you? What's up? What's up?
I had to go and grab a dab rig.
Mr. Magoo, he's always hanging in there. What's up, Purple? Thanks for coming in today. Cobra,
it is Sunday,
yes.
and I've been in Zoom for like 3 hours and on meetings, and I'm going to do a dab with you guys, and then I got to get in my garden because I have mixture sitting there, and I've been working away here and, you know, chatting with you guys and talking about what we love to do, which is grow cannabis. So I'm going to pull out the temp tech so I get that exact temperature.
Oh, nice. Temp tech it up.
Beautiful dabs sitting here.
And what temp are you going to take that at, Johnny B?
710. Actually, you know what? Here, I've learned that there's a Fahrenheit and a Celsius button. So everybody's like, I hit my thing at like 390. I'm like, that's way too low. But then I realized that's Celsius.
Hey, Purple mentioned that we were looking at a different unit than his as well. Just
FYI. We were? Damn it. Okay. Purple. Sorry.
We'll figure it out.
Purple, I'll mod you up and then you can share the link in the chat. I don't care. I don't care. If people share links in here.
For me, when I cure my weed, I hang dry it. I don't exhaust nothing. I have a very, very light air in the corner of my room that circulates the air around, but I never put direct air on my plants at all. Zero. They should not be moving or swaying around. It should be a slow cure.
Teo,
and you look at your
Teo.
levels. Are you cutting me off?
Sorry, I was my chat is like telling me they already put the link in here and it is here.
Okay.
Sorry,
I'm
I was
listening
sharing
to
the
you,
wrong
Johnny.
one.
Okay,
Sorry,
I
Johnny.
like your curing
So
tips.
really, when it comes to
Win the beauty.
curing, it's about, it's not how fast can you get it cured and how quick can you smoke it, because then you're not going to get the proper terpenes. You're not going to get the proper profile. Don't forget, you want to save those terps. You want to be able to hold that water level, that active water or moisture content, to be able to enjoy your cannabis at its full extent. Because when you dry it out too much, you're going to lose that layer of membrane that's holding all of those nice flavors in there. Once that's gone, it's like when you dry out a raisin, you're not going to get that flavor back. You don't want to over cure anything. If anything, I would like to hold it around the 60 to 62 and then let it dry out a little bit to the 55 fresh, I always say. But once you cure your cannabis, you want to hold that water activity at the same level to assure that you're saving your terpenes. And, you know, there's products out there that everybody knows I use Bovita for that, because that's what works. But I don't use it to rehydrate. I use it to hold and save those terps, which is most important. You don't want to rehydrate with water. You want to cure properly and then get it there. Dabs away.
Dabs away. All right, so
Okay.
that's a very different thing. No, go down further. It said versus food dehydrator. Okay.
You want me to click on that?
Maybe. I thought they were trying to defend how they were different than it, but it does
And
initially
I could see
look
why.
like one.
I could see it looks exactly like a food dehydrator.
But
and that's
there was
why
something
people
that
say
went
that
in the
way.
center. It looked like, was there some sort of
Let's scroll
water
back up.
thing or moisture?
Ooh, maybe there was.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
looking
know.
for water, something that goes in there. There has to be
Could you
something.
Maybe
go up a
there's-
little further? What the heck
Yes,
was?
we have this by-
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun
Dun,
dun. There's a hole in the center, I see. But that's like,
Yeah.
I have a food dehydrator that looks like this. Oh, right here. That
See,
basket thing.
there's like a
There's
shot
not-
glass. A shot
that's
glass.
water.
It says moisture shot, and then there's a basket with a strainer.
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
Okay,
So,
there's other
that's what I
shit
said.
here.
They'd have to add water and be able to hold that humidity level between 72 to 67 for a period. Like, I know what I cure at, so I'm really curious, because if they've made something to help people cure properly, like, I'm all for it, right? So that's different. It's adding humidity and taking humidity out, and it's on a
There you
timer,
go.
and it's got a setting on it, so it's actually
What's the price tag?
$400, $500. So that tells you it's got to have some
What
kind
did
of a
we
price
say up
tag to
here?
it.
It was up here.
The other one was $500, but this is.
No. This
seen-
is cheaper, I think. Wait.
Ouch.
Sorry, I'm
They also
making
had multiple
everybody
different
dizzy out
sizes.
there. So they have 6 ounce.
Yeah, but there's just 3
Or
of the
2.
same
Oh,
unit.
you get.
Yeah, just
yeah,
click
yeah,
on
yeah.
the single
Okay.
unit. See if they'll tell you.
So I was just curious if it had it like.
There's different ways of being able to help cure your cannabis, and the different ways to be able to hold
Okay.
those moisture levels, and we
Personal
talk about
grower pack for
we go.
1 unit. Let's see what they click on.
that. I was clicking. I was just talking there about different ways of curing and why we're curing, and I'm curious on 149.
$149.99. It's
And it
yours
says up to
So how does it work?
6
Ships
ounces
to
of
Canada.
buds.
It's out of Tree Leaf Cannabis, Ontario.
There, it's in Canada, Johnny. You need to know about it.
Yeah, I don't
I'm gonna
know.
mess with you.
I don't care.
Ah.
Oh, that's a
Well, there you
storage
go.
container.
What's in the moisture shot? You got to buy the moisture shot. Now I'm confused. That means it's
I
using
think
some
that's
kind
an
of a
additional
chemical.
one, maybe.
That's if you
What?
break your other one, you need another
Oh,
one.
if you need a shot
These
glass?
are extra shot. Yeah, in case
Okay,
you need a
fine.
shot glass. Yeah.
What's it called is moisture shot. Let's read this thing. How it works.
You have to read the instruction manual.
There's got to be a video.
Well,
okay,
we
so
won't
you guys,
bore
let's take a
everybody
look at
today.
it.
We won't bore everybody today. Everybody can go do their own research, and then maybe we'll get the person on here and we'll chat, and we'll chat with Purple Thumb. He's been using it. Let's have him.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious
Yeah.
because at this point right now, like I said, is it adding moisture? Is it taking it out? Is it kind of doing the same thing that I'm
Yeah.
doing in my curing room, but on a smaller, compact, solid level? So people who are growing in a grow tent, they can continue growing by putting their buds into this little curing machine and then putting in their next crop as their buds are properly curing. Because there's different ways of hanging. I've seen people use garbage bags and put hair dryers underneath them and blow hot air through it, put holes in the top. It's like, come on, right?
So there is a comment in chat. Yes, I actually hang my whole plant, and I try not to take as many leaves off because I try to leave as much on there for it to dry as slow as it can because I'm in a dry environment.
There you go.
And So that is one thing. And he said my thoughts are hanging the whole plant versus removing the other for branches. So that was
So when I do mine, most people know I remove my big fan leaves and then I hang my plant and then I trim as I smoke.
Yeah, I like hanging my whole plant, but to each their own. So Purple, I'll contact you on Instagram. It'd be great to have you on maybe sometime this week or maybe next weekend to talk about that. I'd like to know someone that's using. I would like to have feedback from people using the devices, just like Johnny B shows everybody. He shows everybody what he's using. It's super important to me that people show what you're using so people can learn by that. By the way, today is sponsored by kombucha. No, I'm just joking. It's not sponsored by kombucha. I'm just having a drink, y'all. It's not
He
wine.
just likes it.
You're
Cheers,
awesome, Tara.
everybody.
Today is sponsored.
I was making fun of because the Future Cannabis Project actually threw in a little sponsor, and it was an alcohol commercial thing, and I was like, "Whoa, that was kind of funky."
I've been doing that same joke on the Portland Tasting Club once a week, I'll say, and this week sponsored by Blue Chew. Get your boner pills and use Fumidor. Fumidor is the code word.
Fumidor, we love you, Fumi.
Well, Tara, I want to thank you very much for having me on your show today.
Thanks, Johnny, for coming on today.
It's Sunday, and I know we talk all the time, but it's always an honor to come on your show and talk about what we love so much here, which is growing our own medicine, looking towards the future of how we can grow our own at home with different ways, new technologies, and you can always get that on the show that I've been doing with you guys, and come to the Discord app, check us out on Instagram, hit anybody up in Tara or DK or myself. And we'll see you in the Johnny B Grow Room meetings with the crew Mondays. We do that 4 till 6 p.m. And we're going to be talking about humidity in the grow room this week, actually. So a little bit more on that, guys. And thanks again. Peace and love. We'll see you guys in the next show. Out of here.
Nice talking with you, Johnny.
Peace.
Bye, guys.
Have a great rest of the day.
Cheers, man.
Peace.
Well, so where's our next guest at? We're waiting. Okay, so Dragonfly actually just got back with me. They're not gonna make it today.
Hey, busy people. That's
but
how
they just got back with a consult. They had a super busy day, but we are setting up something tomorrow morning. I'm gonna have a private chat with them tomorrow morning. We're gonna line out something steady. So I will talk with them in the morning, and I'll let you all know when the next time will be, because I did kind of want to let people know a little bit ahead of time. So this will be kind of nice too, instead of just, so this will be really cool. So, and they're going to bring some farmers on, I think. And we're going to go deep dive into like kind of, first of all, we're going to start out with the basics. Can I talk? Basics. And,
I still can't say microscopy.
But the basics of the DemPure movement and what it is, what it's about, what DemPure even means, Dragonfly Earth medicine, and then the pure off of that actually means something. It was brought up at the Hive. That would be something that I would like everybody to kind of have some information on. It's stuff that I got to go take part of. And I kind of want to share that a little bit more with my audience, because I know my audience knows that I've been out doing these things, and I feel kind of guilty for not sharing all the fun stuff that I've been doing with you, everybody, and not letting you know all of the stuff, because I don't know when their movement is, right, and what to say. So having them on here will be really cool, because then you can hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, we can get a little bit of like the Dragonfly experience to it, maybe why there's a DM movement in general, right? It'll be cool to hear a little bit of their story.
Yeah. Super excited. So where's our guest, our Kratom guest? Has he arrived yet?
All right. So for him, he was planning on being in town between 11 and 12. So I was thinking, obviously it was dependent on Dragonfly, but we knew they may be busy bees, so that's no problem. But I was thinking maybe we could have a little break here until he shows up, unless we had something else we wanted to jump into for the next half an hour or so.
And then come up specifically and have it just about that show.
Exactly. And we can have like a little lunch break.
Idea.
Give everyone a second.
I love it. Love it. Let's do that. Let's all go have a nice little break. Everybody go get something done in their garden. Good idea, DK. Right? What do you think, Eric?
Just get away, stretch,
stretch out, get something done. And maybe we'll come back on. What about like 12:20?
Sure.
I might be around, or I might be off doing something with the wife.
Okay.
But hit me up, by the way, or I'll
or we
keep
can do
my
it at
eyes
high
out.
noon. We can do it about an hour.
Yeah, let's shoot
What
for
are we
12.
thinking? Shoot for 12, high noon. Okay, everybody. We're going to be back in about 1 hour. We will see you then. We're going to be talking Kratom, and we're going to be talking with Cam. Eric might be with us, might not.
You never know.
DK definitely will be joining us. And if anybody else wants to get on here and talk about Kratom, they want to talk about their experience with Kratom, anybody that knows anything else that would like to know more, please share to anyone that you think might be interested, and we'll see you guys back in about an hour. Thanks.
Yes. Thanks
This
for tuning in,
episode
everyone.
sponsored by Yo Kratom, home of the $60 kilo. If you enter code Tara.
Oh my gosh. Bye, everyone.
Gotcha.
Oh my gosh. Eric, he's killing me. Oh my God.